Hello, I'm Sarah Johnston and originally from Pennsylvania, worked in Boulder for 8 years and now live in New Zealand. And we're here at the COSPA conference, the 7th year for the event, which is pretty cool since Jeff, Rupert and I co-founded the organization 7 years ago.
Great. And Sarah, tell us about what kind of work you do.
Actually my background's in interior design. And soon after university, I traveled to Colorado and was working with environmental consultants and different showrooms, and then ended up working with Jeff Rupert, a structural engineer. And he started working with straw bale and natural building, and in that he pretty much gave me the opportunity to say, would you like to design a straw bale house? And I'm like, okay, we'll give it a go. So from there, it just has blossomed into many, many good things. So I design houses, I consult on different design projects. I do a lot of interior design and finish work, and have been teaching a bit now in New Zealand with straw bale construction primarily, and just making the connections, putting people with the like-minded people, and I just like making connections.
When you got to New Zealand, what was the culture around straw bale? What was the status?
Well, you know what? It's been an interesting kind of evolution in trying to figure that out, actually. Initially, when we first got there, we knew, both my husband and I, Sven, knew a little bit about, you know, the different companies that were doing straw bale building on a professional level, you know, mostly design build companies, and they were there was pretty much 2 or 3 of those, and when I was trying to make those connections with those individuals, it was very closed. They didn't want to share information. They didn't want to kind of open the door to someone new, because they were, as I was informed, I was going to be stealing their bread, which was a shock to me after coming from the community in Colorado. Oh my God, yes. So there was things happening there, but I felt that it was directed towards the more affluent, kind of upper class society in New Zealand, and it was not necessarily for these owner builders. Where, I mean, although it is happening with a lot of owner builders, the design build companies who were promoted themselves as straw bale professionals were very closed-minded. And it's been interesting in the few years that I've been there, that has blossomed. The doors have been opening, and people have realized that I'm not trying to steal the bread, and which is a blessing for me. But straw bale's growing, and there's more and more people who are really interested in the technology and the system and everything that surrounds natural building and straw bale building.
What's the status of permitting and codes with straw bale?
Well, that has been a learning curve for me, because the New Zealand codes are performance-based, whereas here they're more prescriptive. And so that in itself has been really intriguing. I mean, just one, learning new codes, which here the code book is like this, and here you have a timber standard, you actually have earth building standards. And every material has a standard pretty much that goes with it that you must learn. And so in general, from my understanding, in the past, the permitting has been somewhat easy. However, within the past 7 to 10 years, there's been issues with leaky homes, especially in the North Island, and that has blossomed into this insane paranoia, actually, that for example, any building system that has a plaster cladding has to have a drain vented cavity. That's the acceptable solution. So where straw bale fits into that, or any building that has a plaster system as a cladding material, to be deemed appropriate and to be deemed passing all the New Zealand Building Act, you have to have a drain vented cavity on it. So, you know, for me, in certain climates and environments where appropriate, you know, it's not necessary. So that is now deemed an alternative solution. So it's been a struggle. Mm-hmm. There's definitely been clients who have given up during the permitting process, because it gets expensive, because you get, as a homeowner, you're getting charged, $100, $120 per hour for the building officer to kind of go through the plan and just ask lots of questions because they're unfamiliar with the technology. They don't understand the systems, and it's tricky. But I also think that with a lot of the kind of international things that are happening and the talk with global warming or climate change, I kind of like to say, is that people are realizing that homes need to be more energy efficient, because New Zealand homes are miserable. There's no insulation, everything's single glazed, and everyone in the winter lives in one room that's heated by a wood or coal fire.
Wow.
So there's a lot of education that needs to happen, and I think New Zealand is a little bit behind the times in building science and building understanding, and I think there's a huge room to grow, but it is a challenge right now for permitting and just in dealing with the reality of the standards in the New Zealand Building Act.
Can you, in a way that a beginner might understand, define prescriptive versus? It's probably hard, because performance is based on the history of that building system. So there's prescriptive codes and performance codes.
Yes.
And in this country, we have prescriptive codes, and in New Zealand they have performance
yes.
codes. Okay, so those are the two camps.
Yes.
And what's the difference?
The difference is performance-based codes are based on the testing that's been done, and it's actually it's from my understanding of learning about this, it's really government and commercially driven, because the companies who have the big businesses drive the testing
and have the funds for the testing.
Exactly. So performance is tricky because you have all that money kind of backing certain products. And so performance, just generally speaking, is based on the performance of a building material, of a building system. And prescriptive is more based on, more of the science, and more of I shouldn't even say the science, but more of the idea kind of behind the systems, rather than the proven hardcore.
Mm-hmm.